When you say I have no energy, what do you really mean? Is it your body that feels heavy, your mind that feels foggy, or your emotions that feel completely flat? Energy isn't just about how much sleep you got last night. It's the sum of your physical, mental, and emotional capacity. And it's one of the most valuable resources that you have. Welcome back to the Grounding Hour. This session is about noticing how energy shows up, what drains it, and what you can do realistically to support it. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm not giving you any quick fixes. This is not about hustle culture. I'm not going to tell you just need to go and get over it. That's not what this session is for. The focus of this session is better understanding how your energy functions so that you can better advocate for what you need to support stronger, more consistent energy. When you say, I feel tired, is it the kind of tired that sleep can fix? Or is it the kind of tired where you feel like your brain can't possibly hold even one more thought? Sometimes energy is about your body and how your body feels, but other times your energy can also be about your mind, what's happening in your mind, what's affecting your mind. Sometimes it's even about your emotions and the things that are impacting both your mind and your body. Basically, it can be one, it can be two, and sometimes it can be all three. Energy can be broken down into three parts. There's the physical side where you might experience things like fatigue, muscle weakness, lack of stamina. You might also just feel like really strong and be able to run further or lift more than you would have before. And so those are kind of two different sides of energy. Then there's the mental side where you might be struggling with focus in general. You might have brain fog. You might be thinking and processing things really slowly. Or you might feel, wow, I can really think through all of these things and make decisions much easier today. I feel very energized. Apathetic. Then there's the emotional side where you might be experiencing low motivation, feeling detached or apathetic, or just a general sense of not being concerned about too much or even feeling like you have the capacity to be. The flip side of that is just feeling emotionally empowered, excited, and having a zeal for life in itself. Additionally, there are other factors outside of your physical, mental, and emotional that can impact your overall energy. One example of that would be chronic illness. And another, you could also consider trauma as something that could impact your energy levels. These things often blur the lines. For instance, autoimmune fatigue can be both physical and mental, or conditions like depression or BPD can really impact you emotionally to the extent where even just thinking about doing something might feel like an extremely heavy lift. Even things like decision making can feel like you're exerting almost as much energy or even more than if you were doing heavy exercise. When you notice low energy, pause and ask yourself, which part of me is most depleted right now? Listen, energy isn't about willpower. I already told you, I'm not going to come here and tell you that you just need to keep going and pushing harder and harder and harder. What if energy is more so about how you spend and restore? Think of energy like money. You can spend it, you can save it, you can restore it. Some days your paycheck is smaller. Chronic illness, stress, trauma can all shrink the budget. You've got less to spend. Nutrition is one of the main ways to make deposits into your energy. Balanced meals, steady blood sugar, and help you to avoid crashes. Typically in these you want to look for fiber, healthy proteins, and healthy fats. You have that base combination, it goes a long way for having steady energy. Or on the other side of this, high sugar foods can cause you to spike and then crash. And this actually creates a debt, an energy debt, meaning you've used more energy than you may potentially have. You can also look to nutrients like B vitamins, omega-3s, and magnesium to support cellular energy and stress resilience. And when it comes to nutrition as a main source of energy, this doesn't have to be complicated at all. Here's an example of a dish that exists in many cultures in countless variations, and that's rice and beans. Beans help to steady blood sugar, rice provides fuel, and together they last longer than if you were to enjoy them alone. Add in a bit of a healthy fat and you've got a powerhouse of a meal in an everyday staple. But nutrition isn't the only way to increase your energy bank account. Another way is through the mental side of things. And this is where I will say again for the gazillionth time that words and thoughts have power. And it influences how we think, how we process things, and how we interpret it, and how our body and brain interpret them. That's why it matters how you frame actions versus outcomes. For instance, an outcome like I want to lose 10 pounds can feel extremely demotivating, particularly if you don't lose those 10 pounds. But an action like I'm going to add a protein source to my breakfast builds energy and momentum today. So all of this is great, but why should you care? What happens if you don't protect your energy? Well, your body keeps receipts. It keeps all of the receipts. And when you don't protect that energy, it adds it all up, and it definitely impacts your energy bank account. Ignoring energy needs leads to chronic stress, higher cortisol, disrupted sleep, blood sugar, and mood. Long term, this increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. It can worsen symptoms from conditions like PCOS, and it can lead to burnout. And I'm not saying that the world is going to end if you do everything you possibly can to protect your energy and, one time you fail or something doesn't work or you forgot to advocate for yourself and whatever you needed in that moment, because in reality, that's life. And also there are lots of systemic barriers that can get in our way. The power behind these moments is that you can learn, is this a moment where I should protect my energy and step back? Or is this a moment where I need to understand that it might be depleting to me and find other ways to replenish myself? One other important factor to consider, and it might sound strange to some, but I think it's a reality, particularly if you experience chronic illness, and that is you may need to outsource your energy. We dived into this in detail in 2 prior sessions, but the reality is that sometimes you just need to know when to ask for help and who or where to ask for help. In these moments, it's a time to lean into community care and self-advocacy. If this is something you struggle with, check out sessions 2 and 5 of the Grounding Hour. Some forms of support can include family, allies, or community advocates. Just remember, you don't have to carry it alone, and energy, while every person has their own, to some extent, a finite amount of energy, as a community, there's an abundance of energy, and we can share and support each other. Now that we've talked a bit about understanding your energy, let's pause for a reset exercise. If you're in a place where it's possible, I invite you to relax, sit back, close your eyes, and take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. With your eyes still closed, we're going to give you an opportunity for some self-reflection. Think of one moment this week you said or thought, I have no energy. It could have even been a different phrase like, I'm so tired. Ask yourself, was that my body? Was it physical? Was it my mind? Or was it my emotions? keeping in mind that it could be a combination of all of them or even just some of them. As you think about that, think about one word that you'd use to describe what that felt connected to that either emotion, mental state, or physical state felt like. If you think back on that moment, what was the cue or trigger? And how did this influence your action or reaction? As you reflect on this, consider what is an example of a more supportive action or reaction I can take or use or exercise the next time I experience this cue or trigger. If you have a pen and paper, I encourage you to write it down. If you don't have a pen and paper, at least say this out loud. Say, the next time I experience X, I intend to do Y to better support my energy. Once you finish writing that and saying it out loud, let's take one more deep breath in, long, slow breath out. And if you haven't opened your eyes already, this is a perfect time to do so. When will you decide that you're tired of being tired? And I don't intend this as blame, like, why are you doing this? No, I really want you to think about what would inspire you to reach a turning point where you say enough, because no one else can actually do this for you. It has to be intrinsic to you, because every time we repeat this phrase, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm so tired, our brain is learning that story, and it's learning that exhaustion is permanent. But the amazing and beautiful thing about our brain is that we can rewrite that story, and it doesn't need to be rewritten just with the flick of a switch. No, it doesn't have to be overnight. All of a sudden, I'm a completely different person. One, because it isn't realistic, but also because you actually don't need to create more stress to generate a different outcome. You can start with one small action and build up from there, because those actions give your brain proof that something else is possible. So, how do you build this proof for your brain so that you can have confidence in being less tired? Here are some examples related to small actions you can take to support yourself. What's the best? Depending on where you might be finding you're losing your energy. It could be I am physically, mentally, or emotionally, or all three tired. So one thing I need is more sleep. So I'm going to go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Or it could be I am in constant pain and I haven't had time to schedule a doctor's appointment. I'm going to schedule an appointment to see a pain specialist or see whatever doctor I think might help with this pain I'm experiencing. It could be that you actually qualify for some form of accommodation based off of either your chronic illness or whatever the situation might be. So maybe you do need to look into what and if you qualify for some sort of work or school accommodation. And then, because nutrition is a key way in which we build our energy bank account, another way to look at this is through considering small changes you can make to how you approach food and your diet. It could be something as simple as I'm going to swap a fruit in for a processed snack, or even I am going to wash one fruit so that it's available for me to choose instead of a processed snack. And then I'm going to take it even a step further, because for some people, these might still feel like heavy lifts. So if I'm saying this to you and you're already stressed and you're already tired, think about breaking it into even smaller chunks. And I've seen this benefit all sorts of people with a variety of conditions. I definitely recommend talk to a medical professional, but particularly those with depression or BPD, they might benefit from breaking these into smaller chunks even. For example, it could be, today I will drink 1 glass of water. Just one. I will drink at least 1 glass of water. And you start and you build from there. And these micro actions shift your brain from I can't to I showed up. And every time you keep doing it, you're just building and building more confidence into that story that your brain is being told. These guided journaling prompts are designed to help you reflect on your energy, how you experience it, how you feel about it, and how you might begin to shift it with small steps. You can use the time allotted now, or you can return to them anytime you need a reset. When I say I have no energy, I mean, is it physical, is it mental, emotional, or all three, or 2 of the 3? Right now, the biggest drain on my energy is When I feel the most restored, it's usually because one action I can take this week to shift my energy is At the end of the day, energy is definitely not infinite, but it is manageable to an extent. Every action you take, whether it's a meal, a boundary, a deep breath, a bedtime even, is proof that you're still here, you're still showing up, and you're still trying to improve that bank account. Thank you for joining us today. If you're looking for more tools to support yourself on your journey, visit our site, eatgwell.com. There you'll find tools that will help to support you, whether it is in building your own self-advocacy and health advocacy, improving your nutrition to support your energy through meal plans and recipes, or just some more motivation through the other grounding hour sessions, and additional information about what's happening in healthcare, food, and wellness policy that may impact you and or those in your community around you. If you're a Bloom Plus member, don't forget to log onto the site so that you can download the session worksheet and the next steps guide. As always, thank you for joining us today. I'll see you in the next session. And until then, keep coming back.